I love to give sets of handmade cards as gifts, but I don't always have the time to spend hours picking out paper and embellishments. Hello, I am Karen Hashik of Karen's Creative Cards, and I love kits with coordinated papers and everything you need to make lovely cards, but I will admit I don't like to commit to subscriptions. 49 and Market has card kits that include everything you need to make 8 gorgeous cards with matching envelopes, and we don't have to commit to continuing subscriptions. I've been a huge fan of 49 and Market rub-on transfers and cardstock, but I admit I have not explored other parts of their collections until I found their laser elements in a kit, and then I want a huge box of more 49 and Market gorgeousness. I pulled out the Tranquility Card Kit first to play with, and in one afternoon I made 6 cards, and I'm going to share the easy process with you to make the last 2. Now, included in each kit is 8 A2 envelopes and cards, and then 2 sheets of rub-on transfers and 8 sticker sheets, seals. And this one is called the Tranquility Card Kit, but there are many different card kits. This is the first card I made in just minutes. So you just fold the card base in half, and then you choose a few rub-ons if you want. I rubbed on this "Thank you so much" and this butterfly, and then I did want a little bit of dimension, so I used another butterfly that's also 49 and Market that came from one of their laser element sets. And then this is the matching envelope. Now, you could make your own if you had some paper, but again, within seconds I had this gorgeous card done. Now, of course, all the details on all the cards shown will be on my blog, and links to the blog posts and products featured are in the description box. Now, I had been meaning to play with my Clear Views Transparencies, and I decided they would be a perfect addition to this set of cards. Now, Clear Views Transparencies are pictures that are printed on acetate, and they are available at a favorite local stamp store. So this one, again, just folded it in half. This paper was already there, and I simply die cut a frame using a double-stitched die from Crealys, and put the pretty picture in there, and there's a matching envelope, and card number 2 is done. Now, if you use this type of frame where you're cutting it out, you will have to cover this back part here, and I added rub-on "Birthday Wishes for You" and another butterfly. Done in minutes, just beautiful. So here's another one, again, a gorgeous envelope. This is the folded A2 card base. Added a Clear Views Transparency here, a little butterfly for some dimension, and a few more rub-ons. Oh, happy day. And here's one more. You can make a frame if you have like layering dies. This one is from Spellbinders. So in this case I didn't have to cover up the back because I made the frame on the front. I did add another rub-on on the inside and just put a beautiful butterfly transparency there, and this "So Very Thankful." So a couple of the cards in the kits are going to be thank you cards because people can always use those. So I'm going to show you step by step how easy that is to make a lovely card like that. So first you're going to take the card base and you're going to fold it in half on the scored line. And then there is a matching envelope, and you simply fold on the scored lines again, and make sure that this is right side up. I did one where the image was on the wrong side, but again, the person getting it, I don't think they'll ever know. But I knew, so I'll make sure I got it the right way. And then you add some adhesive right along the line here. That could be a real skinny score tape. I like my liquid glue for that, so that I know for sure it's right where it needs to be. So the envelope is done and the card base is done, and they match, which I think just makes these just beautiful. Now I have cut a frame. It's a Hero Arts Infinity die set. So this one was like, you know, one die cut, and I added a little bit of ink to it, and the frame is done. I have chosen a transparency here, and I even added a rub-on Sending Love right on the transparencies. So that was something I had not tried before, and that was kind of fun. These pictures, of course, are printed on acetate, so they're see-through, so you need to attach them to something. Now you can attach them to just plain white paper if you want, but what I have found through my years of doing this is either a shimmer cardstock or a glitter cardstock, depending on what it looks like, I guess. So I generally use some type of specialty paper. You just need a little piece that is, I can measure it for you. The transparencies are 2.5 by 3 3/4, and so your piece of cardstock is going to be just a little bit bigger than that, just to make sure that it fits. I like to use a two-sided sticky sheet on to attach these. It's kind of difficult otherwise. You can't really use glue. You could maybe use some micro glue dots and kind of hide them under parts of it. This one's pretty open. You'd kind of have to just aim. If you put them in the corner, they wouldn't be too visible. But again, the easiest thing to do is to take a piece of two-sided sticky tape sheets, cut it down to the size that you want, and then just take this and attach it. So now it's attached, and it has pretty shimmer underneath, and then we're just going to trim off the excess. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be underneath the frame. So this is going to frame this, and then I might have to trim it just a little more once it gets on there. I've put some two-sided score tape on here. Again, you know, liquid glue really wouldn't work for this, working with acetate pieces. Maybe your tape runner would, but I guess I would suggest a good strong two-sided tape. Sometimes getting the tops off these tapes is the hardest thing to do. And then we'll just trim off the top here. And we have a framed picture. I see a little bit on the side here that we don't need to stick out. Now I am going to add a sentiment rub-on to this. This is going to go here, and so I don't think I'm going to put any other sentiment on the front. I could maybe add a pop-up butterfly or something, but I think that's really enough on the front. And then on the inside, I thought I would choose a sentiment. How about sending my love? No, this one says sending love. How about just because? So if you haven't worked with these rub-ons, these are not the same kind that we used to get years and years ago. These are so much higher quality and so easy to use. You just trim out whatever it is you want, and then you're going to just take this backing off and place it where you want it. And yeah, we still have some here. I like the butterflies. I think I will put a butterfly on. And they always add these little dots, I guess you might call. 49 Market always has these extra dots of color around their elements that make it pretty cool. Now, I have had a badly broken wrist and I don't have a lot of strength. You can rub these on. That's not hard to do. You can use a bone folder. You can use the stick that's included. What I like to do, it's perfect every single time, is to run it through my die cutting machine. Now that's off to the side because it's too big. When I'm using rub-ons, I put it in a piece of folded paper. It might be a little sticky and I don't want it to grab anything. And I'm gonna run this through my die cutting machine. And I will show you how easy that is to do. And you never have to worry, did I miss a little bit, and go back and try to add it. It's frankly just perfect every time. As long as you don't overlap them, that's the key. If I had tried to put this butterfly too close, then one would take the pattern from the other. But if you don't overlap them, you are good. And I've done that, so in fact I did it on a video that I was showing how easy this is to do. Oh, here's what you don't want to do. So now we're simply going to add this to the front. I was going to say, do I want to pop it? But there already is dimension with that frame, so I think I will just leave it without adding any more pop-up dots or anything. So we have a beautiful folded card. Of course, the back is just gorgeous too. And then we have our framed transparency, sending love just because. So one more card done in just minutes. Here's another one that I made just like that. I had the beautiful butterflies there with the matching envelope, and I framed another picture, a Clear Views Transparency there, and then on the inside I said, thinking of you. So, done in just minutes. But now let's step it up, and let's take this gorgeous paper and cut it apart a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do a fun fold. It's a version of a joy fold that will feature the paper and a Clear Views Transparency beautifully. So I don't know if you know what a joy fold card is, but there's many different versions, and this one I happened to find recently on a video online, and it was showing, you know, pattern paper here and here, and I thought, well, that would be a beautiful way, and then right on the top would be where I would put the transparency. So the one that I came up with, you start with an A2 size card, but it is the 4 1/4. Where did I put that? Anyway, this is the 4 1/4 by 11. So it's 4 1/4 wide by 11 folded in half, and that's what you start with. And then we're going to cut a diagonal line, and then you put a small folded card on top, and that's where the transparency is going to be. So let's see if we can get this to work. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your paper in the cutter like any paper cutter like this. And you're going to cut a diagonal from the center right to the bottom left. So you put this in your cutter and line up the center right with the bottom left. And that part is done. And then I cut the A2 card apart. I know, right? Sacrilege almost. But I just decided that this paper would be gorgeous with this idea. So this piece here that I cut is 4 by 5 1/4. And that's what your pattern paper or whatever paper you're going to feature is going to be. And we're going to want to cut from this corner to this corner. So again, you just line it up so those corners are in your cutting groove. And we're going to glue these in. This is folded just a little bit off. Let's see if I can fix it. You can't see that probably, but I can. Okay, so we're going to glue these in here. So the pattern will continue from one side to the other. I always love that when that's the look that you get. And by having cut this 1/4 inch less, so it's 4 by 5 1/4, there will be a little bit of border on all sides. Oh, don't move. So that's the start of it. That pretty paper on both the background and this diagonal. Now I have cut a piece of cardstock. This is 3 by 6. I didn't have enough of that A2 card. The A2 card, of course, was 5 1/2. But I had some matching paper in that kit that I could use, and so I cut it 3 by 6 and I folded it in half. And I've rounded the corners because the frame I'm going to use is rounded. And when you open it up, just like I showed you before, I picked a flower and a sentiment, and that is going to be the piece that's going to be added here. I have lost my frame temporarily. Aha. I have cut a rounded square frame using a die set from My Favorite Things, and I have put some sticky two-sided tape on here it's driving me nuts. I can see it, so I'm going to trim it off a little bit. Again, you probably can't, but close up I can. We don't need any extra sticking out there. Okay, so I have cut a piece of, in this case it's a glitter paper. No, it is a shimmer paper. I chose a shimmer paper on this one. And I've put some two-sided sticky paper on top. And I am going to remove the cover on that. And I have a transparency here. In this case, it's a black and white picture of a flower, which I thought was perfect for this paper. And it is now attached to a shimmer paper background. The transparencies are very, it's just a thin piece of acetate. So you would always have to attach it to something. And I have found that this is the easiest way to do it. And then we're going to put this frame on and decide what part of the picture we want. It's a little wider than the transparency, but I can mostly attach it on the top and the bottom. And then the other pieces will be used to attach it to the card. We're just going to trim the excess off here. So this is going to be attached here, which is almost a shame because it does cover up that matching paper, but that's okay. The Clear Views Transparency and the other beautiful paper is a star of the show. And attach it with a little bit of a border. Oop! I did that upside down, didn't I, guys? Can we? It's glue. We can take it off. Yay! We get a little bit of time to maneuver, thank goodness, because you would think these are, what, pussy willows? They'd be coming up. You would want them to be up in the picture. The front is covered up, but the inside still has some pattern on there with a little bit of writing, so that's very pretty. And this is going to be attached here, and then you open the flap and then you open the other flap. I'm going to mark, just to be sure, where the center is, because I want to make sure I'm lining that up. So this is 5.5, so 2 3/4 would be the center, and then this is 3 inches, and so the center is 1.5. It will help me as far as lining that up. I don't want to attach it and then look at it and go, oh, it's too far to the right or to the left. So we're going to, it would be easiest to do it like this. We're going to line those 2 marks up so I know it's centered. And then before I press down too much, make sure I like the placement, and I do. Now if I wanted to write more than what fits in here, I could put another piece here of that, if I had more of that pattern paper or just a plain one. If you take 5 1/4 by 4 and cut it in half and put another piece here, but you could write a little more on there. But in the meantime, we've taken and stepped outside our box and cut that pretty card base in half and created another unique card with the 49 in Market card kit. The pretty transparency is framed there. You open this, and you have another beautiful rub-on and celebrate today. And then the matching envelopes. Now again, you could take paper and, you know, use an envelope maker and make your own envelopes, but you saw me put this together in 2 seconds. I have just gorgeous matching envelope. So I made another one similar to that idea with another matching envelope and a pretty transparency and that pretty paper cut in half. You are in my thoughts, and that's a rub-on with a couple butterflies. So in just minutes, I have a gift set of 8 matching cards. I think the gifts will be appreciated, and I don't have to do any of the work of finding matching paper and embellishments and making the matching envelopes. I hope my cards encourage you to give some of these ideas and products a try. Watch the next video for more ideas with 49 in Market products, and then give the gift of joy this season or send some joy out into this world.